What's up, Overwatch fans? We are back live from Los Angeles. It's the weekend, baby. And we're hoping you're ready for another day of pulse-pounding action. The Houston Outlaws are in the building as they are barely clinging on to their playoff hopes. Jake and the gang have proven they can beat anyone on any given day. Today, they take on the 2018 champs who have looked like a show of themselves recently. Guys, it's not been great for the Spitfire, but we'll find out. Can they get back to their winning ways? That match is going down in just 30 minutes. Welcome inside the Blizz Arena. This is the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, and today we got a very special guest. No, it's not Bren. It's not Sideshow.
Yeah,
at the far end, wearing bright magenta.
Right.
Mr. X.
Bright magenta.
Burgundy? I don't know colors.
Yeah, no, I got distracted during the opening. I was checking Sideshow's pulse.
Yeah, it's
make
pulse
sure
pounding
his pulse
action.
was pounding, and it was
I gotta
pounding.
say though, what a wild downgrade we've got here, huh? My word. Couldn't
Me
the
and
wheel
Brett-
out Doa? Huh? No?
The Doa forgot what
Maybe
day.
tomorrow.
He missed,
Maybe
he missed
tomorrow.
the schedule. He
Brett, we
forgot.
got a packed show. Let's jump into it right now because we are starting the weekend off right here on Watchpoint. Everyone's favorite Giga Chad Among. That's what the Zoomies are calling him, right? A Giga Chad? Among and the Hunters are looking to roll on. We sat down with several of Chengdu's best to discuss feeling the love from the fans and why this team is one to be feared on their path to the playoffs. Plus, it's time again for Attack or Defend, everyone's favorite debate segment where we bust out some verbal fisticuffs to debate some of the league's hottest topics. Everybody should get comfortable because we have an awesome slate of games, maybe 20 of them for you in store. In our 4 matches, you will see the Outlaws versus the Spitfire, Dynasty go up against the Defiant, the Mayhem look to play spoiler against the Valiant, and we finish it all off with the Hunters taking on the Spark. With a win today, the Chengdu Hunters would get back to 500 on the season and can further stake their claim on a playoff spot. On the other side, the Hangzhou Spark lost a very tight 5-map series to the NYXL last night, but still sit in the top 6. So, Brent, let's talk about the Spark first. What did you learn by watching the team last night?
Yeah, well, not a lot, honestly. Watching them, it was a very sloppy gameplay from both the teams involved. Now, the Spark, they definitely look uncomfortable, but it's weird, right? Map 1, they end up just getting absolutely rolled by New York Excelsior. Map 2 rolls around, and you find them back on their horse, you know, just absolutely crushing it. So you can see they absolutely rode them here on Volskaya.
The robot horse, Goose.
Gotta get back on the horse. Gotta get back on the horse.
I mean, it's wild. What do you expect from the Hangzhou Spark these days? Who knows, right? A lot of teams, they're inconsistent in a match overall. Maybe one match they play really well, the other match they play really badly. But the Hangzhou just seem to be mixing the two as they play on the fly. Who knows, you know? You got to flip a coin with these guys. You never know.
Never know. Well, for the Spark to get back on track, they have to take down a very feisty Chengdu squad. And fellas, the Hunters are currently in that 12th spot, the final spot for the play-in tournament. So let's talk about this team. Who are the impact players carrying the squad?
Oh, you've got to say Eamon to start off with, right? Because he's been the pivotal force for their team and the guy that everything's built around. What a risk the Chengdu Hunters took on him as well. If you told me that you were picking up a main tank that had never played Winston in his competitive career, I would have told you you'd be going out in 20th place. But instead, the Chengdu Hunters have actually made it work. Eamon just on Wrecking Ball and Orisa generally for the course of the whole season, with a little bit of Reinhardt thrown in there as well, has been able to have a huge impact. He's easily the best Wrecking Ball that we have in the league. And the Chengdu Hunters have built around that really aggressive style and now are looking like they might sneak into the playoff. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a risk to build around a main tank who specializes in Orisa and Wrecking Ball.
And used to play Diva.
Yeah, in a really odd world. But I think Jinmu has really been a standout player for the Chengdu Hunters, especially in this stage. I think as we see more Hanzo being played in the meta, I think he has one of the better Hanzos in the league. We always see like his crazy flick shots he's able to pull off. We know his Far and his Genji is strong. And then he's mixing in some more Doomfist, where I think when you look at the damage dealers for the Chengdu Hunters, he's the only one that I think if you're another T, like really kind of strikes fear in you. Like I think Young Jalong and Bacon Jack are nice players, but I think Jinmu has the capability to take over a game with one of these picks, whether it be the Genji, the Pharah, or the Hanzo. And I think all 3 of those heroes are extremely important in this meta. So I think he's making a big impact as well as Eamon.
That's going to be a massive match for Chengdu later tonight going up against the Spark. But our first match of the day, guys, has been one of the better rivalries in the league. The Houston Outlaws come into the day sitting in 16th position, but still have a roster stacked with talent. We've seen it before. Now, on the other side, the London Spitfire are still in our top 6, but have started to show some cracks as of late. So Mr. Rex looking into your fantastic
Yeah.
crystal ball.
Forgot it at home.
Does London stay in our top 6 at the end of the season? I guess you got to just use your hands.
I forgot the
Where's
crystal
crumbs
ball
at?
at home.
That's actually what we call your brain.
I don't know. Yeah, we call my brain the crystal ball.
'Cause
But,
it's fragile and easily
looking
cracked.
into the future, I think London makes it. I think London is. Josh has been writing that one for a few weeks.
Correct.
They play the Outlaws. They play the Atlanta Reign. I think both of those are tough games. But I think 15 wins still gets you in. I think with how kind of mediocre and everybody's just kind of beating each other, the 6 through 12 to 13 range is. I think London, you win this game here against the Outlaws, you get to 16 wins. I definitely think you're good for top 6. Even if you lose it, I think you're still in a pretty good spot.
Well, honestly, ignore the numbers for a second as we look at the numbers for Profit, because that's the guy who's been super consistent across the board for the London Spitfire. And I mean, yeah.
Do we ignore these numbers or look at these
Here's
now?
the thing. You ignore some of them, but you pay attention to some of them as well.
Okay, got it,
I'm going to
got
tell
it.
you which ones you want to pay attention to. Final blows, eliminations, blizzard kills, baby. He's in the upper half, right, when it comes to the May. But that's not what makes him a good May player right now.
So ignore those numbers.
So
then
ignore the
them.
numbers,
Yeah.
and we go to the footage. Pull it up. There we go. We start to see now. He's mechanically skilled. Yes, he's one of the best players on a variety of roles we've got. But it's his cooldown usage that makes him the cream of the crop. And it's when it comes to the ice wall usage. Look at this right now. Defends bird ring right in the heat of the moment. You love to see it. Profit's so intelligent when it comes to using these ice walls on a much higher level than a lot of the May players right now, and that's going to be a deciding factor in a lot of these games.
Now, Josh, we alluded to it earlier in the show that these two teams have quite a bit of history over the years. Let's take a look at this rivalry.
Yeah, in 2018, the Houston Outlaws had their number throughout the whole of the season, which is really weird to say. It was a boogie team for the London Spitfire. I mean, look at how many times the Houston Outlaws were able to come away with the victory. Really strange stuff, but in 2019, they haven't quite been able to. It was a 4-0 drubbing the last time they faced. Now, having said that, though, in Stage 4, we've seen a huge amount of variability. The Houston Outlaws were able to take a huge win over the LA Gladiators, who we respect as a pretty decent team right now, maybe top 3, top 2 perhaps. And on the other side of it, London had this horrific game where they ended up getting upset by the Florida Mayhem. So both of these teams have swings where they are able to, the Houston Outlaws are able to perform much better than normal. The London Spitfire are performing much worse than normal. If these collide on the same day, I could sniff a little bit of an upset. It's on the wind. I can get a little sense of it.
On the wind.
Yeah,
On the wind, huh?
There's a little
Okay.
breeze whistling in here, man.
Yeah, they just need to get back on their horse, right, Bernie?
Get back on
Get
that
on the
horse.
horse,
Ignore the
guys.
numbers.
Everyone get on the horses.
Numbers.
Outlaws, you need your horse today because your playoff hopes are on the line. And after a crazy start to Stage 4, we have upsets on the mind here on Watchpoint. We'll break down some of your favorite underdogs. Coming up next, it's the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. That's right, Philly. We're coming to eat your cheesesteaks. It's all going down in the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, September 29th. So head on over to OverwatchLeague.com right now to get your tickets for the biggest show in the year. Welcome back into the Blizzard Arena, everybody. The Seoul Dynasty dropped a 5-map heartbreaker on Thursday night to the Guangzhou Charge and looked to right the ship today against a very tough Toronto Defiant, whose updated roster has given problems to some of the league's best names. So, Mr. X, can the Dynasty pick up a clean win and help their map count today?
I think they can. Their map count's actually pretty good. They're like plus 13. I think they're the best, like from 6 to 12. I think they can pick up a win here today against Toronto, and I think Jaehong has to be a big reason why. Before I pulled the whole Brendan kind of ignored the numbers, so to speak. I was just watching a lot of his gameplay, and you don't really like look at Jaehong and like think of him as like a top support now. Like I think the expectations for him are extremely high coming in the league last year. I think he's kind of dipped down a little bit, and I think when you look at some of the numbers, his numbers aren't bad. I think though this is where you have to ignore the numbers.
Sure, right.
take a little bit of a look at how he's playing in the game. Where I think these numbers are probably indicative of where he is. He's like middle of the pack in terms of flex supports right now.
Those sleeps are so good.
You're saying, did you just say Ryu Jaehong is not a top tier support?
I said he's in the middle of the pack in flex supports right now. Yeah.
You don't want to catch these hands, Matt. You're coming out with.
You were the one who said that originally.
You're a guest on my desk. Right? You don't come out here spouting this nonsense. Listen, Ryu Jaehong brings a lot more than just the numbers, all right? But we're going to ignore the numbers for now. We'll take a look at some of the things he does bring. Leadership, veteran presence. This play right here, Jaehong's calling. They knew how to break.
That's all the stuff you say when people don't have the numbers.
Adaptations, all right, Matt? Adaptations. That's something you don't have. You know you don't got, all right? You don't have any of this. But he brings so much more to the team than just his raw stats. Yeah, he's not a Jonak, but he's a great leadership figure. He brings it, and he brings it well.
One of the biggest names from the beginning of the Overwatch League, but Jaehong aside, is today a trap game for the Dynasty sideshow?
I actually think it could be. I mean, if they come in and they're not respecting the Toronto Defiant, they could actually end up losing it here. And this is a really pivotal spot for Seoul to be in. Now, look at where they're placed at the moment. They're in 8th, but they could rise as high as 4th. They could drop totally out of the playoffs. There's still a large amount of variability for the Seoul Dynasty, and it depends on how they react in these upcoming games. They've actually got a losable and winnable schedule moving forwards. They could lose every game, they could win every game. It totally is in their hands. And it starts here with the Toronto Defiant. Because if they're not able to bring their game against Toronto, then I don't really have faith when they go up against Shanghai or when they go up against Philadelphia Fusion. So for me, this is really the litmus test of where we will see the Seoul Dynasty finish in the season. Because there is a possibility here that they could go 1-6 and end up dropping out of the top 12 completely.
You can't go 1-6 in stage 4, can you?
I mean, I don't think they will, but it's possible. If they end up losing to the Defiant, they could definitely lose against the Dragons. I would even expect them to lose against the Dragons, and then you have to bounce straight back to try and save your season against the Philadelphia Fusion. This is a huge game for the Seoul Dynasty today.
Big game going up against number 18. In our third match of the day, we have a showdown that is suddenly a lot more interesting than it was a week ago. The Florida Mayhem, yes, that Florida Mayhem are on a 2-game win streak. They've doubled up over the last 7 days.
Franchise record.
Behind stellar play from their damage duo, and they're definitely looking for another upset when they face the LA Valiant, who are sitting just outside of that playoff picture. So, Sideshow, how high are the stakes for the Valiant today, the hometown team?
I was just talking about Seoul and saying that that game was important. This one is astronomically important for the LA Valiant. This is a must-win for them. You look at their schedule, and upcoming, they've got Gladiators and Shock. So this would have looked like an easy win coming into it, with you having to peak towards the end of Stage 4. But they've already dropped a game against the Dynasty. They can't afford to lose this one.
The loss against the Dynasty hurts them, because if they would have won that, they could have survived a loss to either the Gladiators or the Shock at the end.
But now they can't.
Yeah, now they can't.
And the Mayhem, I mean, I would even have them favored at the moment over the Valiant. So this has to be a huge step up for the Los Angeles squad.
Okay, all right, don't worry about that. All right, because
okay.
it's one line.
Ignore the numbers.
It's not even any numbers.
In the playoff scenario.
It's not even any numbers at this point. Listen, you only need to look at one player on this team, and he goes by the name of Space, all right? This guy has come out swinging.
Indeed.
Stage 3, I want to remind everybody, Stage 3, he intentionally benched himself because he thought it would give his team a better chance of winning. But now he's back. He's on the Roadhog, he's on the Diva, and he's putting up some very good performances. Look at the numbers at the bottom. I know I've been telling you to ignore them all day.
Focus on these
times.
He's second right now in the league when it comes to this. His Diva, cracked. His Roadhog, cracked. Honestly, this team, they're looking pretty good right now. I think people sleeping a little bit on Valiant when it comes to that.
I'm definitely sleeping on him.
Matt, Florida's definitely trying to play the spoiler here today. They want to ruin the hopes for the Valiant. Who's going to lead this Mayhem squad?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's as much people sleeping on the Valiant as really they're kind of high on the Mayhem right now. And I've been really impressed with Gargoyle. Like, I've been watching him play a ton of the Diva, a ton of the Roadhog, and he's very good for the Florida Mayhem. And I think this was a big point of improvement for Florida. Like, Zephyr just was not getting it done in the off-tank role. So I think bringing in Gargoyle here, he's made a huge impact. He's made Fate's life a little bit easier. You know, the damage dealers, when they can put them on like sniper classes and whatnot, they look really good. But I think Gargoyle's really been a huge improvement here for Florida.
I like his look, like especially on the Hog. Stay on the Hog today, Gargoyle. All right, coming up next, it's absolute pandemonium. Yeah, we went there. Stay tuned and see what the Hunters are thinking as the regular season comes to a close. That's next on the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
The view here from Dogman. Let's see. Hits the sleep? Yeah, doesn't get any better than that. So clean. What? And Shadow Burn out in the middle of nowhere as well.
Not the execution. Nice shot on the Immortality field. It wasn't moving though. Under pressure, Carpe. Ooh! Wow! You got too close to Carpe, and that's what happens. Well, Dante down, and Carpe has decided that it is time to go Super Saiyan. Jesus, timing attacks. Getting started.
I like lurker routes.
Yeah.
Get them all at once. All right, so probably going to go ahead and...
Whoa, that works.
That, you do not expect the... That was amazing. You do not expect the teleporter Widowmaker surprise.
Looks like he was want to translocate forward there. He goes for the EMP anyway. Does Ursta pull the blade? He does. He gets the nano blade now and he's looking to find some extra kills. Genji's scary enough without the damage boost, and that's 3. Easy as you like for 4 on Ursta. And you said it, Matt, they had the ultimates that play together, and Ursta gets 5 kills to open up the point. We expect no less.
They still get to hold on to the Death Blossom.
And speaking of which, there it is, and Shax just absolutely destroys the entire team by himself. Death Blossom, nothing to be done about it. 6 kills in the bag.
It's time for the most heated debate segment in all of sports. It's Attack or Defend. Up first, the Seoul Dynasty currently hold the 8th seed in our playoffs, but are only 1-3 in Stage 4. With tough games versus Philly and Shanghai coming up, they are far from a lock for the playoffs. So Sideshow, Attack or Defend, Seoul missing the playoffs.
I'm actually going to defend this point because I think there is a possibility of it happening. Don't underestimate the Toronto Defiant here. They beat the Shanghai Dragons. They can beat the Seoul Dynasty.
They just need to win this game against Toronto, and they're in a very good spot to make it from whether it's 6 all the way down to 12. They have a really good map differential. I think you'd have to see a massive collapse from Seoul and then a lot of other big wins from other teams to do it.
Has it even been like that great from Seoul so far? They've only won 1 game at the moment.
Look, I think Seoul finished 6-12, and they're probably gone right after the play-in. But I think they make it there at least.
I think you make it there. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still worried about the Toronto Defiant. I think this team can start making waves. Same way that the Justice and the Mayhem have.
Not as high as
Believe in
Toronto as
Logics. Believe in Logics. He's going to come through with it.
I believe in the map count. I'm siding with Matt on this one. Well done, Matt. Next up, Stage 4 has been the introduction of some of our favorite heroes in the post-GOATS world. With the new meta, damage dealers have become even more important, and maybe none more than this man, the Hangzhou. So Mr. X, Attack or Defend, Hangzhou is the most important hero in Stage 4.
I'm going to defend this. I think Hangzhou is the most important hero in Stage 4. I think as time goes on, you're seeing, well, I mean, obviously you'd have to take the other side of this.
I'm not going to be agreeing.
You would have to, if you have Reaper in that spot, I think anyone who plays damage at a high level, at an Overwatch League level, can play Reaper. I think having somebody who can play the Hangzhou next to a May player is the most important position that we have in the Overwatch League right now.
That's incredible. So the players who are setting up these Hangzhou players, who was that? Which character is that?
Well, what you have like a
It's
Orisa's.
the May. It's the May that's going to be setting up a lot.
Okay.
With the ice
Go on,
cream,
Orisa.
with their playoffs, right? It's at the end of the day, you can say, yeah, Corey's the MVP, but who's the guy supporting him from behind? Stratus.
I never said Corey was the MVP.
right now.
When did I say
know you're
Corey
claiming,
was the
I know you're
MVP?
claiming. You told me in the back earlier, Corey's the MVP. I'm like, no, man.
How did this go from Hangzhou versus May to Corey's the
You always forget about
MVP
Stratus,
against
Matt.
Stratus?
You're always forgetting, fam. All right? Listen, you're coming on my
You
desk.
can never
remember?
let Bren win. Bren, you lost that one again. Finally, on Thursday, Shadowburn graced us once again with his beautiful dance moves, and Wolf got in on the
He's
groove.
getting it.
Simple question here, fellas. Should Wolf leave his post as a caster to pursue a career in interpretive dance? Bren, attack or defend? You are the best shape thrower on this
No,
dance.
I defend that any day of the week. Listen, I think Wolf's got a future career. Listen, after the Overwatch League in like 2075, we're all gone.
Okay.
Wolf's
That's
going to be out
quite a
there
long
throwing
time.
shapes. He's going to have like cybernetic
I don't think his
implants in the
joints
boy.
are going to work in
No, that's what I'm saying.
2075.
Cybernetic implants. at that
Anyway,
point.
there's no way that Wolf could possibly pursue a career
Why
in
not?
interpretive dance. We need him here so that he can remind us of the history of all of these players when they
true.
used to play in Korea in
Yeah,
Apex.
he's our history keeper.
Otherwise, who else
Yeah.
would do that, you know?
Exactly.
So maybe he can teach us through interpretive dance. Maybe that's how he should cast in the future.
Teaches history.
I
through
don't think there's
interpretive
a
dance.
winner here. I hope we'll find out in 2075. Thank you, Brett. Behind their erratic and unpredictable play, the Chengdu Hunters have become fan favorites, and for good reason. They've been a thorn in the side for the rest of the league. And whether it's Jinmu raining rockets or GigaChad Among wrecking shop, the Hunters have become must-see TV. We sat down with Chengdu's finest as they look to punch their ticket to the playoffs.
No one does it like the Hunters, and they want the world to know.
How do you prepare for Chengdu? Spoiler, you don't.
Rain, damage.
我认为大家都喜欢我们，是因为我们有很多丰富的战术。
Chengdu, they're known for sheer pandemonium.
我认为成都队最独特的一点就是我们拥有全联盟最好的破坏球。
阿蒙。
Rain, damage.
Boom, pile driver.
He's the best wrecking ball in the game right now, and he's been buffed here for the new meta.
我是觉得在这个联盟，大家都很喜欢把阵容就是固化，但是就他很难防备去跟大家就打不一样的阵容，他很难去防备。
Beautiful performance from the Chengdu Hunters here.
但接下来赛程都很难，但是我们都会努力训练，然后争取进入到季后赛。
Very realistic opportunity for them to make it into the playoffs.
偶尔会关注一下这个排行榜，但是不会对我们的心态有影响的。
What? Jinmu is a beast.
我觉得每个队伍都应该对我们保持畏惧吧，因为我们随时可能会赢他们。
Chengdu Hunters 4-0 victory over the New York Excel.
我想对我的对手说，最好小心一点我们，因为我们状态好的时候可能会打到你们出不了门。
可以。
And the rock stars of the Overwatch League continue to crank out power chords.
They're fan favorites, but the road to the final 12 won't be an easy one as they still have tough matchups against the Spark and the Shock. So guys, do the Hunters pull this off and swing themselves into the postseason? They're right there on the bubble.
I think they're looking pretty good, honestly. Their chances. I actually rate the Chengdu Hunters as a top team right now. A top 5 team. I put them as third in my power ranking.
Third in the power
I
ranking.
am that high on the Chengdu Hunters.
You
because
had to
I
be in
think,
top 5,
I think they honestly have the highest peaks that we've seen of a team so far. Like the way they play. When they're on fire, you tell me any team's putting them down. I don't think so.
We know they'll be
come on,
tough to
Justice.
plan for in the playoffs.
Gladiator.
Guys, we have one more segment
Shock.
to go, and we are just minutes away from the Outlaws and the Spitfire taking the stage. Who do we think will come out on top? Find out next. It's the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. It's Saturday, and here are your predictions. We've got everyone agreeing on London, Seoul, and the Hunters prevailing. But Sideshow, you are out on an island picking the Mayhem over the Valiant. Sideshow, Mr. Rex, 30 seconds on the clock, face off.
I just want to point out how he spoke about Toronto beating Seoul the entire time and then picked Seoul there at the end.
Okay, right. You just want to change the topic.
I think I think the Valiant, they know how important this match is. I think the Mayhem, they're excited. They've won 2 in a row. You start to let off the gas.
No, they won't let off the gas.
I think the Valiant come in here and win.
It's time to give Mayhem their proper respect as a good team. They've beaten London.
That's fine. They're a good team, but I think they're going to lose.
They're better than the LA Valiant at the moment. Valiant haven't really done anything this stage so far. Gargoyle is going to tear them to shreds. Spend your time picking this guy up. He's going to demolish.
The Valiant have something to play for, though,
Josh
today.
is feeling pretty cocky right now. I like it. Brent, settle it. Who wins this one? It's Valiant. Who's carrying them?
He wasn't
I think
listening.
Chengdu are going to win it in the last match of the series. They're going to prove that they're a top team.
Thank you guys for watching the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. Enjoy the games.